Baruch Hashem. So we are getting ready to enter into Purim. It's already been working, it's working. The whole Chodesh Adar is, what happens is that the incubator that we're held in changed. The channels are open, which means it keeps going in different designs as it connects to each person, to the head, the moich, and then into the body. And we're locked in certain realities because the certain realities also have to come to one realization. The certain realities also have to come to one realization, and that is who each and every one, wherever you're stuck, that's the consciousness, that's the makeup, which means you have to start from ground zero. You have to first know yourself, make peace with yourself. I have issues, I have problems, I have deal with different shortcomings or long stretches. See that, get into the body with it, see it, feel it, and honor it. Yes, I have issues, I have problems, and then once we see it, that's when we can start connecting from ground zero and start emanating out from the teferes, which is the stomach, which is that's where intuition works from. That's the nesher. So there is boire, tachas avshita, simple oil, let's just say, and that is looking for an expression here in Welt, all the way down at the lowest conscience where things are physical. Now remember, we were carved out from Afer ve'Ether, from earth. He took earth from all four corners of the world, and then he blew in Nishmas Chaim, the breath of life, and this breath is carrying everything. And now we're being carved out of Afer. It's like a sandcastle that you do by the beach. So we're taking a gulp of Afer, a dummy, a diamond, and this light is beaming onto this Afer. And the way it wants to be expressed, how the light shows up, that's how the Afer is shaped into. Which means that if the Afer was bigger, if my screen is bigger, then the image is bigger. And if I have an image of a circle, then the image is going to show up as a circle. If I have an image carved out as a narrow person, then the light comes in as a narrow person. And it keeps beaming, beaming. And as you're going to notice that as you raise your consciousness, a lot of people lose weight. They get smaller because that is matter, that's ego, and it's holding certain pains and certain projections that were put and pained onto the person. And once you purge that, then the light comes through and that carves the person in a different way. And then all of a sudden the person wants to eat healthier stuff and get into, that's the mind, body, and spirit. But let's keep it to the point. Let's keep it Purim dik. So this light is b'tachas avshitas and this beams. And it had a desire, it wanted to be expressed in physical Welt. In this Chomer Welt, it wanted to be expressed. So by Matan Torah in Har Sinai, we received the Chetzonis. We received Chetzonis, the Welt. Chetzonis, Chetzonis HaTorah, Nigla, Torah Shebechsav. Because remember that then what were we prepared for? Coming out of Mitzrayim, we had physical labor, which was on the outside, on the body, on the guf. The guf and the body was carved out, Pisim Ramses, etching out the stones and the rock and building all that good stuff. So when we came to Matan Torah, our bodies, the light that came to us, we received it in the body. That was Nigla. And Torah Shebechsav, which was etched in, this is the road, this is the tracks that we're running on, the maze, I like that better, the maze, in the body and all over. And then Panimes HaTorah happened on Purim. Pnimis HaTorah happened on Purim because this is the avodah of inside, bringing it into the body. Pnimis HaTorah, there was a Mesiris Nefesh. We went on Mesiris Nefesh. Matchat Tzadik and Esther, Amalka went on Mesiris Nefesh, which worked like as follows. Now, by Har Sinai, the Eibishter showed up with Koilus Evrukim and Oshan. There was getting fire, dinner and blitzen and all that good stuff, because that was on the outside. Now, going inside, how is this thing, this light that has no expression, it's B'tachas Apshitas, how is he going to show up in Welt? How is he going to land when he wants to show himself in the Panimi, that we should catch him in all our fibers and wake up the DNA? That is when there was a squeeze, such a squeeze that we were at the brink of a season to exist. They're going to wipe out all the Yidden and everybody, everybody. Kush, we're talking about Achashverosh was a power. He was the biggest king ever, 127 Medinas, which was a might. For sure back then, where all he had is the reach of a sword. Didn't send missiles flying there. So he was a powerhouse. So that Choshech, that powerhouse, is how Eibishter, this colorless thing, showed up in Welt, in Achashverosh and Vashti, the klippa, the other side of it. Why? That triggered such a deep, it was so harsh, it was such a squeeze that it triggered to wake us up from the depth where we had to tap into Mesiris Nefesh. And that's where the Vanahapacho happens. What does that mean? What does that mean? Imagine there is a light, it's hovering above. Sometimes you can see it in the sky when it's like blue and there's clouds, almost nightfall or middle of the night. Now this light has to come in and manifest here in Welt. So it manifests in Welt, but the highest level of it is a Yid. Now this thing wants to come in the Pnimis, he wants us to understand him in full color and everything, so he created a Purim Shpiel, a Purim Shpiel. A Purim Shpiel, alles mit Achashverosh and Vashti, and that triggered within us the point of Mesiris Nefesh. Fine, let's go back to what I wanted to say here. I got off course, I repeated it, but let's go back. So too, the same thing is playing out throughout consciousness. It's playing out. Back then it looked one way, now all the way down here at the bottom, it looks like 2023, and we need to bring this. We have a showdown of Achashverosh and Vashti. In each and every one in our own personal lives have a showdown with Achashverosh and Vashti and Amalek. Your personal pain and your problems are here to squeeze you into your Pnimiyas HaTorah, to your V'nahapacho, to the point where you have Mesiris Nefesh. Why do I have Mesiris Nefesh? Because I can't anymore. I have no way out. I've tried everything. And now I'm going to face it. And when I face it, I realize that I'm going all the way to the end. What is this pain going to do to me? What is this shortcoming going to do to me? And when you meet it, when you have nothing to be afraid of, because going to Mesiris Nefesh means that I'm sacrificing my fears. I say I have no more fear, I'm just doing this. Regardless of my fear, I'm going to do this. We'll get in a second to more detail. I'm going to do this because we're talking Bechlulius. How do I do this? I do this with Simcha. Massive Simcha. What's the Simcha? The Simcha is that the Eibishter wanted to create a world and his children, and he did it. And it was a massive Simcha that he's going to show up in Welt with somebody that actually gets him. So when we tap into Simcha, we go into that vibration, to that channel. And Simcha put it together, which means Simcha is such a powerful vibration that any stuckness that you have, it brings new flow into the matrix, into the veins, into the organism that feeds us. It overpowers the paro in the outside, all the fears that's going on outside. It overpowers all that. So the Purim Shpiel, it's just a Purim Shpiel, and that's why we put on a mask to realize and recognize that everything is just a mask. everything is a mask, and behind the mask, what's going on behind the mask? What is going on behind your mask? Now, we have to go to a place of Adalo Yada. Adalo Yada means into a place that I don't know anymore. Tachel She'ediyah Shaloi Neda, which means that all the knowledge that we're acquiring, everything that we're learning, is to get to a place, because we keep going higher, 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 and every time you go higher, you let go more, you release more, you let go of your way of seeing things. I'm more educated, I'm smarter now, I'm more present, until we find ourselves with, and then what? And then what? What's the reason for this? And what's the reason for that? And then you don't know. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make it. It unspins. It unspins the body, and then the head from the top. It unspins. It goes the opposite, counterclockwise, and then we find ourselves in just being present. Tachas Haydi Shaloi Neda. Which means that we're dealing here with a light that's simple. It has no expression. How is it going to express himself? By landing this light into this separation, this choshech, and it becomes a massive spin, because now we're battling with separation and oneness and separation. Ego says, I can't be so present, are you crazy? I'm going to die, leave me alone. We still need 20 hours by car to go to Miami, because I can't envision or visualize or process in my ego that I can just be there by just being present. That is Purim. That is Purim. Which means unspinning, finding your spin, forgiving it, letting it go, unwinding it, and then finding yourself in Loi Neda, in a place of just being. Because, and guess what? You know what you find when you're just being? Somebody that's in the lower consciousness may cease to exist. Right? Like Bilam, he didn't want to come over to the Yidden. He knew that's the truth, because that was his truth. He was a low frequency. It was choshech. So the minute he surrendered to the truth, he ceased to exist. But when a Yid surrenders to his true, to who you are a chelik elokam ma'al mamash. We have the breath of the thing that created everything, which means that you can create. How can I create? I can only create in my image, right? We can create, he said, create in his image. So what is your image? If your image is tzibrachen, then you go and create tzibrachen. So in Purim, we have the koyach v'nahapachu, by simply letting go, drinking, simcha, unwinding, being present, and from that place ask. Ask. Ayin Toiv on your friend, which means that I have to have an Ayin Toiv on myself first. And once I have an Ayin Toiv, it means that I'm seeing him in his potential. Yep. So that's number one. Let's go to number two. Should I split this one in two? Yeah, let's split it in two.